how does this work? For Christians, this Roman execution device, the cross where Jesus died, was the place where everything changed, where God saved the universe. But how?
For over 2,000 years, Christians have been wrestling with this question. But in the early centuries, they didn't just explain it with philosophical formulas. Instead, they gave us strange and beautiful metaphors and images.
So, in this video, we explore 8 ways the early church described what happened at the cross. In the 2nd century, a church leader called Hippolytus described the cross as a cosmic tree uniting heaven and earth. He wrote, "This tree is for me a plant of eternal salvation. By its branches I am spread out. Its perfume is a delight to me, and its spirit refreshes me like a delightful wind. This tree of heavenly proportions rises up from the earth to heaven. It sustains all things as the support of the universe, the base of the whole inhabited world, and the axis of the earth."
That's beautiful. This reminds me of the Genesis story. The fall of humanity began at a tree, and now salvation begins at another one.
Yeah, exactly. Hippolytus was probably thinking the same thing. For him, the cross heals not just souls, but the fabric of creation itself.
The second image is just as cosmic. The 4th century theologian Athanasius wrote that when Jesus died on the cross, he purified the entire atmosphere of evil so that humans could be in God's presence again.
Like cosmic incense?
Yeah, sort of. Athanasius wrote, "Jesus suffered not in a house, nor under a roof, nor in a city, but outside, under the open heaven, that he might cleanse the air from the dominion of the devil."
So it's similar to the way ancient people believed sacrifices purified a temple. But because Jesus died in the open air, it wasn't just a temple that was purified, but the entire universe. So humans could breathe in the air of heaven again.
Speaking of sacrifices, this third image is one of the most crucial for all Christians everywhere. It's also one of the earliest. Jesus, the ultimate sacrifice to end all sacrifices, and the cross as the altar. Throughout the New Testament, Jesus is described as a lamb who was slain, a sinless sacrifice for all the sins of the world. His blood purifies not just the air, but human souls as well. This one might be hard for us to get our heads around, but for ancient Jewish people, it was the blood of an innocent animal that could reconnect people to God.
So the cross was like the final sacrifice that would cleanse the whole world of sin once and for all. This next image might be even harder to get our heads around. The 2nd century theologian Irenaeus called Jesus the ransom paid to save humanity.
Ransom? Like what you pay for a hostage to be set free?
Yes, Jesus himself said that he came to give his life as a ransom for many.
But who is it paid to?
Well, the 6th century theologian and Pope Gregory the Great put it like this: when humanity fell into sin, they also handed over their rights to the devil. The devil, through sin and death, had taken humanity hostage, and he demanded a payment for them to be freed. It may sound weird, but it shows how seriously the early church took the reality of evil. God paid the devil a ransom, his son, a sinless human being who gave his life for our life.
So to be a Christian is to be like a set-free hostage?
Yes, exactly.
That's beautiful. But also a bit weird. Why would God owe anything to the devil?
That's fair. This next image might help make a bit more sense of it. Jesus and his death on the cross as a divine fishhook.
Oh, a what?
Hang with me for a second. Imagine the devil like a terrifying sea dragon who has dragged humanity under the sea of death. Jesus is like bait sent from heaven. A 4th century theologian called Rufinus put it like this: the devil who had the power of death seized the body of Jesus in death, not being aware of the hook of divinity enclosed within it. But having swallowed it, he was caught immediately, and the bars of hell burst asunder. He was drawn forth from the abyss.
So the cross wasn't just a ransom, it was a trap.
Exactly. A hook that went to the deepest ocean to catch the monster.
But it was also the sword that struck the final blow. Early Christians also imagined the cross as the final battlefield between God and the devil. In the book of Colossians, Paul writes that when Jesus died, he disarmed the rulers and authorities and put them to open shame by triumphing over them. Jesus is the hero who rescues humanity from the tyranny of evil. What looked like a humiliating, shameful defeat on the cross, in reality was a heroic act of victory and triumph. Later 20th century theologians began to use the term Christus Victor, Christ victorious, to sum up the whole current of early Christian thought. The cross wasn't a moment of defeat, but it was a victory of God's love over death and the devil. One of the most dramatic images of the victory is the harrowing of hell, the moment when, after his death, Jesus descends into the realm of the dead, breaks open the gates of hell, and leads the captives free, like a divine jailbreak.
And for the 4th century Syrian theologian Ephraim, the cross also goes down to hell with Jesus and becomes a bridge, so that humans could cross from the land of death to the land of life. For Ephraim, Jesus is the greatest carpenter who could even build a bridge to cross the infinite sea of death.
There's one last image that's also about us crossing the sea, but instead of a bridge, it's on a great ship. Some early Christians, such as Clement of Alexandria in the 2nd century, were inspired by the Greek myth of the Odyssey and imagined life as a great voyage over troubled waters. For them, Jesus came to invite us aboard a ship to sail us through life and through death, and to land on the eternal shores of heaven.
Wow. But where's the cross in this?
Right there, the mast of the ship, lifted up in the middle as a sign of a victorious king returning home, catching the wind.
So we're like liberated slaves returning home under the banner of a king.
Exactly. And these early theologians said that when storms come, we should tie ourselves to this mast to withstand even the most chaotic times of life. The cross will keep you afloat and moving forwards. Together, these images paint a beautiful picture of what the cross meant to the early Christians.
It's a tree that heals creation, a sacrifice that purifies, a ransom that sets us free, a battlefield where God's love triumphs, and the mast that catches the wind and carries us home.
The early church didn't give us one neat explanation. They give us many strange but beautiful metaphors and images that make up a stained glass window, catching the light from different angles.
Later theologians gave us even more images and more systematic answers. But one thing they all agreed on was that the cross, this Roman instrument of death and torture, was the place where true life and true healing began. And no single image could fully do justice to that. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Christian Story. If you want to go deeper into the ideas and research behind this video, download our deep dive PDF for free. Christian Story is a crowd-funded project where everything we make is made possible with the generous support of viewers like you. So if you enjoyed this video and want to see more, you can start giving on our website today. Every donation helps. And don't forget to like and subscribe. It would really help us out.